you all are in great health and having a great time with family and friends. In today's video, let us have a look at some of the important pointers related to reading comprehension test in competitive examinations along with a sample example. Firstly, we need to understand the basics of reading comprehension. What does a reading comprehension test comprise of? A reading comprehension test comprises of a passage, a given passage which has multiple questions related to that passage. And what do examiners or what do the paper setters want to understand out of that? What is their basic purpose of giving you a reading comprehension test is they want to understand whether you have that comprehending capacity to understand the words, to understand the sentences, to understand the meaning of it. Now let us solve an example of a reading comprehension test to understand it better. Now I would like to quickly read the passage for you. For many years, the continent of Africa remained unexplored and hence unknown. The main reason was the inaccessibility to its interior region due to the dense forests, wildlife, savage tribal, deserts, and barren, solid hills. Many people tried to explore the land but could not survive the dangers. David Livingstone is among those brave few who not only explored part of Africa but also lived among the tribals, bringing them near to the social milieu. While others explored with the idea of expanding their respective empires, Livingstone did so to explore its vast and mysterious hinterland, rivers and lakes. He was primarily a religious man and a medical practitioner who tried to help mankind with it. Livingstone was born in Scotland and was educated to become doctor and a priest. His exploration started at the beginning of the year 1852. He explored an unknown river in the West Luanda. However, he was reduced to a skeleton during 4 years of traveling. By this time, he had become famous, and when he returned to England for convalescing, entire London, along with Queen Victoria, turned to welcome him. After a few days, he returned to Africa. He discovered the origin of the river Nile in 1866. He again suffered many discomforts. He became too sick and could not even walk. He lost contact with the rest of the world and grew anxious to know his whereabouts. Ultimately, it was Stanley, the American journalist, who found him after many efforts, but Livingstone had died in a tribal village in 1873. His body was brought to London and buried in Westminster with full honor. Now, before jumping on to the questions and answers part of this passage, I need to inform you all about the important points to keep in mind before solving those questions or while solving the questions. So the thing is, we have to make sure that we don't exceed our time while solving any of the questions in a competitive examination, as time management becomes the most crucial and a critical part of any competitive examination, as most of us know about it. So the first thing to keep in mind here is, since we have already read the passage, we don't really have the time to revisit the passage, the whole passage. In fact, we do revisit the passage, but only in parts, like only some parts of the passage or only some paragraphs of the passage where we need to refer to the question or the answer. Correct? So let us quickly have a look at the questions and try to solve them as fast as possible with the kind of memory we have of the passage. So the first question is, which of the following shows that Livingstone had become very famous? And the options given here are: A. Queen Victoria along with the people of London had come to meet him. B. Queen Victoria arranged for his medical expenses. C. The tribals were grateful to him for bringing in the social mainstream. D. He was assigned the task of priest although he was a medical professional. So the answer here is A. Queen Victoria along with the people of London had come to meet him. Since we remember clearly the mention of this fact that Queen Victoria along with a few more people had come to visit him, had come to meet him when he went back to London. Now the next question is, why were the people not aware of the existence of Africa? Option A says it was inaccessible due to oceanic reefs. Option B, its territory was covered with dense forests. Option C, people outside the continent were chased away by the native tribals. Option D, none of these. Certainly the answer is its territory was covered with dense forests. As we remember in paragraph 1, it is mentioned clearly why the continent of Africa was so unknown. Now the next question is, Livingstone deserves the credit of which of the following? Option A, for expanding his empire. Option B, for enjoying the wildlife of the continent. Option C, for exploring part of Africa and living among the tribals. Option D, for quenching his thirst of living in the company of nature. Certainly, again, here the answer should be option C, for exploring part of Africa and living among the tribals, because all other options talk the opposite about the characteristic of Livingstone. He was quite a religious and a dedicated person. Next question, what was the impact of 4-year traveling on Livingstone? Option A, he could enjoy a social life among tribal society. Option B, he derived satisfaction with the exploration of an unknown river. Option C, he derived satisfaction as he became very famous. Option D, it badly affected his health. Again, it badly affected his health. Option D. Option D is the correct answer since there is a clear mention about his health deteriorating due to traveling. Next question. The American journalist Stan Lee can be credited for which of the following? Now here are some points and the options are given after the points. Point number 1, performing the last rites of Livingstone's dead body. Point number 2, relentless efforts for finding out the whereabouts of Livingstone. Point number 3, the anxiety to explore undiscovered parts of the world. Option A, point 1 and point 2 only. Option B, point 2 and point 3 only. Option C, point 1 and point 3 only. Option D, point 2 only. So the answer here should be option A, point 1 and point 2, since he was the one who took a lot of efforts to find about Livingstone, and he helped in bringing Livingstone's body back to London to perform the last rites. Next question. Livingstone can best be described by which of the following? Option A, a person with the urge for exploration of unknown parts of the world. Option B, a person with religious mindset. Option C, a social reformer. Option D, a warm-hearted medical practitioner. Although he was a religious, it is mentioned in the passage that he was a religious mindset person, and he was also a warm-hearted medical practitioner. But the point here, which can be best described about Livingstone, is a social reformer. He was more of a social reformer. So yes, I think option C should be the correct answer. Next question. Livingstone became too sick to walk, and as a result, people in the world lost contact with him. Second, point 2, his whereabouts were not known. Point 3, American journalist Stan Lee could not locate him despite many efforts. So option A is point number 1 only. Option B, point number 2 only. Option C, point 1 and point 3 only. Option D, none of these. Well, the answer here is none of these, since people did not lose contact with him. He lost contact with the world. His whereabouts were not known to himself. And as far as the third point is concerned, American journalist Stan Lee did find him, but by then Livingstone had died already, unfortunately. Next question. In what way were Livingstone's exploration efforts differ from others? Option A, Livingstone's exploration was restricted only to unknown rivers, whereas others explored dense forests. Option B, others explored with selfish motives. Livingstone explored to know the mysterious parts of the world. Option C, others explored new parts of the world for wealth, but Livingstone did so for religious purpose. Option D, being a medical practitioner, he tried to explore medicines. Others did so for tribal population. Here the answer is option B. Others explored with selfish motives. Livingstone explored to know the mysterious parts of the world, which is mentioned in the passage. Next question is, which of the following were explored by Livingstone? Point 1, a river in West Luanda. Point 2, Scotland. Point 3, the origin of River Nile. Option A, point 1 and point 2 only. Option B, point 2 and point 3 only. Option C, point 1 and point 3 only. Option D, point 1 only. So the answer is option C, point 1 and point 3 only. As Livingstone discovered a river in West Luanda, he explored a river in West Luanda, as well as he found the origin of River Nile as well. Whereas he was born in Scotland, so Scotland is not the option. Now the last question, which of the following is synonym for barren? Option A, damp. Option B, sterile. Option C, wet. Option D, full. Certainly the answer here is option B, sterile, as barren means sterile. In Hindi it's called as banjar. Alright, so that's all for this passage now. Shall come back with more important topics related to the competitive examinations and English section. Thank you so much. I'm also attaching my scores of this passage in this video, along with another passage which I did. There were two passages, so it's a collective score of the two passages. This passage was a bit trickier, so I thought of doing this one for you all. So I guess the total marks are 20, of which I got 17.5. So I guess 3 of my answers were wrong of the entire 20 questions. And since there was a negative marking of 0.25 per wrong answer, I lost about 0.75 marks. And that's how my score is 17.5 out of 20. So have a look at it and analyze your answers too. Thank you so much, friends. Have a good day. Bye-bye.